What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/MaliciousCompliance.
This story's called Just Do Your Job. I worked security for years and was good at my job and took it seriously. While working at the mall, we had a dispatcher and a guard. The dispatcher would literally document everything. You checked an area and radioed it? Documented. They would also make all the required calls. Maintenance needed notified? Done. After 1 year of patrol, I got moved to dispatch and loved it. It also came with a pay raise. I did that for another year and a half. I had a great coworker and we got everything taken care of in a timely manner. Well, one day he fell asleep and was fired instantly. That's where things went downhill. Fast. A new person then gets hired. She's a friend of the director. A special friend if you catch my drift. She comes on and starts patrol. After day one, she says she can't walk that much and I need to do her job. I tell her my title is dispatcher and it's her job to unlock the doors. She says, "Well, I guess they just won't get done." We get phone call after phone call of workers trying to get inside. I get up to go do it, and a supervisor comes in and asks why the doors are still locked. I advise what happened, and they said, "Well, you need to unlock the doors sooner, so go." I'm dumbfounded. It's her job, but I have to do it? Eventually, it comes to the point where she can't even drive the car around the lot for some reason. She ends up sitting in dispatch because she can't do the job, and if it doesn't get done, it's on me for some reason. I was still getting the extra money, but was doing regular patrol again. She then falls asleep while I'm out riding. I approach a vehicle in the lot, and they hop out wanting to fight me. All we are armed with is pepper spray. I radio her asking to call law enforcement. No answer. Attempting to radio her multiple times. No answer. This guy was 3 feet from me and was angry. I hop in the car and call the police and he tears off. When I make it back to the dispatch room, she's there, sleeping mouth wide open, passed out. I record a video of it. I attempt to wake her again. On video, no answer. I had to bang on the desk to wake her up. I'm done doing 2 jobs. At that point, I was still entering all the data for dispatching and patrolling. I take the evidence to the director and say we need to do something about this and explain what happened. He said, "Stop pestering her and do your job." I said, "Fine. What job do you want me to do? Dispatch or patrol?" He said patrol because she can't. Okay. Cue malicious compliance. I start doing my job of patrol at 100%. She was sleeping at the desk and I had the police on speed dial, no longer relying on her. I take care of the whole mall to a point everyone's happy again. Everyone except our company, who's asking, "Why are you not doing your rounds? They are not recorded in our data." Or, "Why are these alarms not being entered or this incident?" I tell them to check our fobs as we have scanner tags to prove my job is being done perfectly. I advise them that data entry is dispatch's job, but the director doesn't mind her sleeping on duty. They were shocked. I continue my job using the radio occasionally, to which she never answers. Finally, mall management starts to get upset because she's calling for stupid reasons and not calling for good reasons. I was no longer telling her when to call, so she was doing it all wrong. They put her on patrol for a day and she wrecks the car. Instead of firing her, they put her back in dispatch where she continues to do a horrible job and is still not entering the data like she's supposed to. I start looking for a new job and get a better paying one doing ambulance dispatch. I approach the director one final time and lay it on the line. I like working here, I love dispatch, I want a reason to stay, but if you don't fire her for sleeping like you did my original coworker, then this is my 2 weeks notice. He takes my paper and says to turn in my uniform at the end of the 2 weeks. The ambulance job ended up being even better, so I'm glad he did. I still had friends at the mall and checked in from time to time. When I left, the doors were not getting unlocked, patrol not being done, and phones not being answered. The director was fired not too long after, and the new director found a new job before he was going to let her go. She still works there, possibly doing dispatch and sleeping like always. Someone was shot at the location a few months back too, on her watch. Okay guys, right now, someone tell me in the comments below how many potential lawsuits that is, cause holy crap. This story's called, Sure, Don't Listen to the Guys Who Do This for a Living. Years ago, I used to work as a medical biller for a surgery center. The administrator who ran the place knew that I worked construction with my father as well on my off times, doing remodeling and building houses. As such, she commissioned us to do some work for her at her personal home. It was small projects, really, installing a new garbage disposal, installing a new mailbox, installing a projector in the ceiling, easy stuff. Now, before I get into the main part of the story, I must tell you, she was very stingy with money. We had an autoclave that needed servicing at work, and she refused to pay for the worker's travel time of 2 hours for a 30-minute job. She refused to pay a lot of the medical equipment bills until she was threatened with collection notices or refusal to send any future items. She even told us not to waste patient bans who were no-shows and instead place another patient sticker over the old ones, which could be a HIPAA violation, but she didn't care. This is important to know. One day, she came to me and asked if we could take a look at her flooring in her exercise room. She had said the water heater had busted, and as a result, from sitting too long, her flooring was swollen from being waterlogged. So my dad and I went over there to assess the situation and determined that we could do the job for a total of $400 plus material. We weren't out to strike it rich, but really to help the community by providing quality service at a low rate. She was happy with the price and told us she would pick out the new wood she wanted to lay down. We told her she would need about 100 slats for the repair we were going to do, as well as new plywood for the base. She seemed okay with that. She went to Los Angeles one weekend and came back with material that she wanted to use for the flooring. Only she had about 30 of the requested 100 to do the job properly. On top of that, she did not think that she needed to get a new sheet of plywood. We informed her that the old plywood was moldy, swollen, and would only cause problems down the road. She eventually agreed to purchase a plywood replacement, but she was not going to purchase more wooden slats. Instead, she demanded we use most of what was already there. Yes, the swollen pieces, but to tear up the slats in the little alcove that was not hit with water damage and place the damaged ones there. We did everything we could to convince her this was a bad idea. We told her that wood doesn't magically shrink when it dries out. We told her that joining the swollen pieces with non-swollen pieces would be near impossible. We told her that the moisture would invite more trouble down the road and provide for an uneven floor setting. She was having none of it. She knew better and did not want to spend more than she already had. So we went to work. We tore up the old pieces, saved the best ones, and started laying down the new pieces first. Then we tore up the pieces in the alcove and matched them with the new pieces too. Per her instructions, we placed the least damaged slats in the alcove, doing everything we could to make it look presentable. Lo and behold though, it was uneven. It raised in spots, it had gaps in spots. It didn't quite fit right. But that's what she wanted done, and that's what she was going to get. Despite our best efforts, we were absolutely shocked when she said the flooring looked terrible, despite us telling her that it would look horrible with the damaged slats. Okay, no, we weren't really shocked at all. She demanded that we tear up the floor again and fix it right away. We told her, sure, but you'll have to pay us another $400 plus get the other slats that we requested. She got livid and said we were horrible people and refused to continue on. The next day, I quit the job after she came in and badmouthed my dad in front of my coworkers. But I heard from my coworkers that she had to hire someone else to do the job, and it cost her $1,200 for the labor alone, plus $400 for the wooden slats. All because she was so certain she knew better than the guys who had been doing the work for years. Okay, while this was a good story and I'm glad he shared, this is not malicious compliance because he did not comply out of malice. He complied out of, that's just what she's ordering. He's just following instructions for the sake of following instructions, not out of malice, like the name suggests in malicious compliance. But like I said, very good story, dude. She's stupid. This story's called Got Written Up at Work for Doing What the Customer Asked. This has some petty revenge to it, yet this seemed to be the best place for this story. A bit of backstory. When I was 17, I got my first job at Six Flags. Won't say which one for security purposes. I got a position in the retail department, and I was stationed in the sports memorabilia shop. Basically, it sold sports jerseys, basketballs, footballs, toys, etc. Now, the way things were set up is that the sports shop is small, meaning there was only one employee stationed within the small shop, which is usually me and the other guy who does it, depending on which shift we were doing. Well, anyway, that means not only do I have to man the cash register, but I have to help customers get down any item high enough. Check in the back for an item that wasn't on the main floor, meaning the shop is unattended. And I had to unlock our glass case, which kept our more expensive items if asked. Now, I know some people say it's all part of the job description, but try saying this to someone when it's their first job and your shop got busy. Now, on to the story. I had recently turned 18 and I was a few months into my job, and already I'm hating it. One day during my evening shift, I was in the shop folding up some clothing before stocking it on the shelves when a good amount of people came in. I think it was about 7 people. They were looking all over the place, so I went up to them one by one to ask if they needed help. As usual, they say no. A few minutes passed, and this woman, who I want to say is in her mid-30s, blonde hair tied into some kind of bun, and wearing sunglasses. She called me over because she needed me to get a jersey down from a high hook. I grabbed the tool used to reach it and brought it down. She started to look it over and said she was interested in buying it. By now, a couple of the people were waiting by the register, waiting to be checked out. I told the woman that I was going to take the jersey to the register for her, and she agreed. Now, I didn't want her to hold on to the jersey because we were right next to the exit doors, which were always open, so I didn't want to risk her trying to steal. This happened quite a lot. We didn't have those security devices that beeped when something is being stolen, so I had to keep an eye out. Anyway, when I get to the register, I start checking out the items. Coincidentally, one of my supervisors came in to check how things were, basically doing his rounds. The woman I helped earlier talked to him and they came over to me. My supervisor, who we'll call Jose, told me that the woman complained that I ripped the jersey out of her hands and walked away from her. I was shocked, especially after she verbally agreed to me taking the jersey to the register. I was shocked at this mainly since this is the first complaint I ever got. This is where the malicious compliance comes in. I told my side of the story, but the woman denied it. Jose then had to side with the customer as there were no witnesses at all. And like every employee, you couldn't argue back at the customer and had to suck it up and take the abuse that is thrown at you. She kept on saying this like, "You shouldn't have done that, it was wrong of you." And the mother of all, "That was effed up." All I could do was stand there and reply, "Sorry, ma'am." "Yes, ma'am. I understand, ma'am." Right after that last comment, she glared at me from what I could understand from right behind those sunglasses and told me in a cold, irritated voice, "Don't call me ma'am." I don't know what happened or why it happened, but then I replied, "Okay, sir." The woman and Jose's faces dropped completely, but I was more focused on the woman. Her expression was one of disbelief and shock. It looked almost as if someone had insulted her child, if she had any. She then unleashed an explosive tirade, basically telling Jose I needed to be fired or something for basically insulting her. I can't remember what Jose said, but eventually he got her to calm down and leave. She got the jersey discounted, as I think was her plan all along. Once I was on break and we were away from the public eye, Jose went off on me, basically asking me what the hell I was thinking insulting her. I just say, I was doing as she asked. I can't remember what happened after, but I remember being written up for it, and that gave me points towards being fired. If you're an employee of Six Flags, or were, then you know what I mean. I ended up quitting the job a few months later. Best decision of my life. That may have been the first complaint and write-up I ever got, but it felt so good calling her that. Oh yes, that's some good malicious compliance right there. Oh, that's funny. This story's called You Can Cancel at No Cost. Last year, my wife and I got married. My parents and sister live halfway across the world, but that didn't stop them from coming over to celebrate. Since neither my wife and I get to spend much time with them, we decided to rent a house for a couple of days in a nearby wine region. You know, hang out, drink some wine, eat some cheese, and have some quality family time. It had been 3 years since we last saw them. A month or so before my parents and sister came over, I got an email from the owners of the vacation house saying that they had sold the property. But the new owners were going to continue to rent out the house and they were going to honor the booking, so not to worry. All good. 2 weeks later, I got an email from the new owners saying the booking was still okay. But they were going over the records and said I still owed them $100 for the booking. I replied with the receipt and booking confirmation that I was all paid up. Turns out, the new owners were unilaterally deciding to increase the price of the accommodation, and I had to pay up. But they were gracious enough to say I could cancel at no cost, but they'd rather we'd keep the booking and pay that little extra. No cost for canceling the booking, you say? Within 5 minutes, I had found another vacation house in the same region. There's literally dozens of them. I sent a quick email back to please cancel my booking and process the refund. We'd like you to keep the booking. Can we split the difference? No thanks. Please cancel the booking. If you keep the booking, we'll throw in a bottle of wine. No thanks. Please cancel the booking. Good thing the refund came back within days. Their reviews have been less than stellar on TripAdvisor. I wonder why. Oh yeah, that's horrible business practice. You want your first impressions with your customers to be like, super good. Those guys were guaranteed business, alright? What I would have recommended was to, be like, hey, thank you for your business. We appreciate it. We're just starting off. Here, we'll throw in a free bottle of wine, for staying with us. It's that easy. Plus, you'd guarantee a repeat customer. I guarantee it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.